Man, the way that Jackson State University was able to get Walter Payton is amazing. It's legendary. And all credit goes to Coach Bob Hill. Real talk. That man right there is something else. Okay? That man was something else. Okay? So we got to talk about this. I got to share with y'all what I have learned. Okay? But before I do, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Okay? I am your homeboy first, and this is the realest, most entertaining sports show in the game. Put it on something. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button, share, put all your people on it. Okay? Join the channel, give via Cashapp or super thanks. Okay? Everything you give supports the company as we continue our ascension. And we're doing pretty good. All right. But the goal is to become the one-stop shop for Black culture. But let's get into it. Okay? I told y'all I'm reading this biography about Walter Payton right now called Sweetness. The biography is amazing. Shout out to Jeff Pearlman, who's the author. I encourage all y'all out there, either if you love Walter Payton, if you love Jackson State University, if you're a Mississippian, if you're a football fan, you're a Chicago Bears fan, there's so many reasons to read this book. This book is incredible, okay? But I want to share some of the things that I've learned, that I've told y'all that previously. I've done 2 segments on it before. If you missed those, go check those out, okay? One of those segments was about Walter Payton wanting to actually play in the band rather than play football. Another one was about how his greatness helped ease the transition when they combined the schools, or they ended segregation in Columbia, Mississippi, in terms of the high schools. Okay. And today we're talking about how really this man was supposed to end up playing at Kansas State University. Okay. Can you imagine that? Walter Payton, arguably the GOAT at Kansas State. Okay. But Bob Hill said, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Let's get into it, okay? Now, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Why not Mississippi State? Why not Ole Miss? Why not Southern Miss? Y'all already know the answer. Racism, okay? Y'all know these Southern schools and down here in this South, man, the deep South, they were slow to the party. Hard to believe now when you look at these rosters, right? They were slow to the party. Okay. So even though you had this stud running back in Walter Payton, Mississippi State didn't want to fuck with him, y'all. Ole Miss didn't want to fuck with him. Southern Miss didn't want to fuck with him. Okay. Give you an example from the book. Walter Payton had this stellar game, in high school. And it had a bunch of assistant coaches at the game, from various schools. And Walter, got loose. You know what I'm talking about? And when he got loose, they say, and I'm quoting here, they said that Payton spun around, raised the football above his head, and waved to the defenders. He jogged into the end zone backward. Okay. And boy, them white assistant coaches from State and Ole Miss and Southern Miss, they ain't like that shit. They ain't like that shit. Check out what the book says. Okay. It reads, in one corner of the stands, a handful of college football coaches watched in disbelief. In attendance were assistants from Ole Miss and Mississippi State, as well as Barney Poole, an assistant coach at the nearby University of Southern Mississippi. Remember, as I said previously, Walter Payton is playing in Columbia, Mississippi, okay, down in southern part of Mississippi, okay. All right, it goes on to say, as soon as Payton held the ball aloft, the men began complaining aloud. One was more vocal than the others. Can you believe the nerve of this kid? Said Bob Hill, an assistant coach at Jackson State College, Mississippi's largest historically black school. To have that little respect for an opponent is inexcusable. Watch what Hill doing there. He's slick. Okay. Hill, of course, wanted Payton in the worst possible way. This is a quote from Coach Hill. I hope the other coaches would buy my bluff, he said. They tended to think in packs. All right. Check out this quote, though. Okay, this kind of bullshit be going on. Still be going on, too. Check out this. Poole, a former All-American end at Ole Miss who played professionally for 6 years, was visibly disgusted. Upon returning to his school's Hattiesburg campus, Poole filed a scouting report that read, "Tremendous athlete, but we don't need a smart alecky nigger on our team." That's a quote from an assistant coach from Southern Miss that was sent to see Walter Payton play. And because Walter put the ball above his head and jogged into the end zone backward, he was called a smart alecky nigger by that assistant. So that's why Walter Payton ain't end up on one of them schools. Okay. And truth be told, Walter Payton could have probably ran up in the damn end zone, gave the ball to the ref just like Barry Sanders used to do. They still wasn't gonna want Walter at that time. Different time, yeah. Different time. But Bob Hill, y'all see how Coach Hill was slick? Coach Hill was slick as fuck. Now he's still an assistant at this point. Okay, but he's gonna rise to the head coach. But he was slick. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Now I told y'all that Kansas State really had him. Okay. Here's a quote from their head coach at the time. Okay. He says, "We had him," said Vince Gibson, the head coach of Kansas State University. Walter Payton was going to be a KSU Wildcat. It was a done deal, okay? And like I said, the person who stood in the way of that was Bob Hill, okay? It was Bob Hill. He wasn't going for that. So when he became head coach, he was hell bent on getting Walter, okay? Now, if you don't know about Coach Hill as much as you hear W.C. Gordon, he got a whole game in his honor, you know what I'm talking about? And he deserves that shit, okay? Because the 80s were his. The 80s were his, okay? And you hear about Big Daddy Carson, you know what I'm talking about, for, you know, that national championship in the 90s. But let's not sleep on Coach Hill, because his success in them 70s kind of set the stage for, you know, all this shit to come. You feel me? But he actually played for the Tigers as well, okay? Now, a lot of y'all OGs out there know this shit, okay? But I got school to BGs as well. No, because I learned a lot of this shit myself from this book. I didn't have, well, my father went in my life, and like my cousin was my mother's first cousin. So my second cousin was the only man, like, normally in my life. He ain't go nobody to college. You feel me? He ain't go nobody to college. So, and my mama who went to Jack State, she was going night classes. She wasn't paying attention to no fucking football. Okay. So I'm learning a lot of this shit for the first time myself. So just schooling a lot of folks in my age group and on down, they ain't had nobody give them the game on this. This is fascinating shit to me. Okay. But Coach Hill played for the Tigers, okay? And then he spent 8 years as a line coach and offensive coordinator, okay? So he paid his dues on his way up. Sound familiar? Does he sound familiar? Kind of sound like TC, huh? Kind of sound a little bit, okay. Y'all with me. Y'all with me, okay. But the book goes on to say, like, Coach Hill knew he had an ace up his sleeve. He knew he had something that Kansas State ain't have. They did not have Eddie Payton. They didn't have Walter Payton's brother, who was already on the team. Okay, so Coach Hill will, you know, strategically use that to go ahead and reel Walter on in. Now that shit wasn't easy though. It ain't like, okay, He got Eddie there, and he just sent that man, okay, big brother gonna make little brother come to school. No, it was not like that. Not at least based on this book. Maybe motherfuckers got other sources. Based on this book, it was not like that. Matter of fact, Walter was a little hesitant to go to Jackson State because his brother was there, based on the book. Okay, it reads, Eddie's antagonism made Walter apprehensive about attending Jackson State. Okay, so much so that when he was still in high school, okay, Coach Charles Boston. I know that, as I said on previous segment, y'all might not have seen that, okay? But Coach Boston was his head coach at Jefferson High School before Jefferson High School, which was the all-black school, combined with Columbia High School, which was the white school, okay? And then, of course, y'all know, with the bullshit, he wasn't able to get the head coaching job there, okay? So that's the backstory on that. All right, but go check out that segment too. But basically, Coach Boston was letting it be known that, hey, I got this top-notch running back that's still on the market, and if y'all want to holler, y'all can holler. You feel me? An assistant coach from Florida State fell through. That assistant coach's name was Bill Parcells. Y'all ever heard of him? If you know football, you have. Yeah, I know that man won big with the New York Giants, Jets, New England Patriots. They went to a Super Bowl with he went to a Super Bowl with New England Patriots, lost to my Packers. Okay. Cowboys. He's the one that found Romo. Okay. This motherfucker legendary, right? Okay. But he couldn't see the greatness in Walter Payton. He couldn't see it. This is what he said now. Or this is what the book says. It says Parcells attended. So we're talking about, watch them work out or whatever, at spring practice. Parcells attended. The kids, and this is a quote, this is quoting Parcells. The kid's about 5'9", 170, and he's a running back, Parcells recalled. And he runs pretty good, but I look at Boston and say, Coach, we've got 6 backs better than him at Florida State. Plus, he's a little too small. Look at this shit you in now. So Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Southern Miss didn't want Walter Payton because they just fucking racist. Okay. Florida State misses out on the opportunity at Walter Payton because legendary coach Bill Parcells thinks he's too damn small. Okay. The beast that we saw Walter Payton be, Bill Parcells thought the motherfucker was too small. And so we got Kansas State then versus Jackson State. Crazy. But then each one, Jackson State and Kansas State, had the downsides, okay? As the book says. There was, however, the winters of Manhattan, Kansas, okay? This man, Mississippi boy, okay? Kansas weather different from Mississippi, okay? But then Jack State had something, bro. And it was Coach Hill. Okay. That Walter viewed as a downside. Look at what the book says now. It said, there was, however, the tyrannical rule of Hill, who, according to Eddie, ran a football team like a military platoon. Okay. This is a quote from the book. Bob Hill was the Black Bear Bryant. Walter didn't like what he heard about Bob Hill's style. He was brutal and raw. Okay. So, you know what I'm saying? We got two different things going on here. And what's gonna win out? They goddamn Bob Hill gonna win out. But he had to do some slick shit to get it done, y'all. Because Kansas State thought they had this shit sewn up. Okay. They thought they had Walter Payton sewn up. Payton went to Manhattan, Kansas for a summer recruiting party. Okay. And the book says that, things went well. He went water skiing. He went swimming. Tamai was eating hot dogs and hamburgers, and the coaches had grilled for everybody. Tamai. So the coaches were comfortable. They thought they had Walter locked up. But as the book states, hell, that's when they got it wrong. That's when they fucked up. Because they shouldn't have got comfortable. Not with Coach Hill ass. They shouldn't got comfortable. Because Coach Hill, that man there, along with the help of Eddie Payton, was able to get Walter Payton up there at Jack State during the summer. It says, when Payton returned to Columbia, he took up an offer from Eddie to move into a Jackson State dorm room for the remainder of the summer. Okay. His partner and teammate Moses came along as well. And Hill encouraged both players to enroll in summer school classes. Okay. He also set Payton up with a go only if you're very bored job. I'm sorry. He set him up with a go only if you're very bored job. Okay. Working in a nearby gymnasium. Okay. Coach Hill, they quote now. They quote Moses. Coach Hill wanted his hands on Walter, said Moses, but Walter was turned off by it all. Okay. So it still ain't a done deal. You said Coach Hill goddamn trying. He's trying to work some magic on him. But Walter ain't vibing. The vibes were off so much that shit. Walter and his partner Mose, they even went to Pearl River. Y'all know Pearl River Community College. They went down there trying to get a workout, and the coach wouldn't give them no gear to try out. You see how all these cats were missing out on this legend? What is wrong with them? So that's a lesson for some of y'all. Some of y'all be missing out on your blessing like that. Some of y'all be overlooking your blessing like that. Don't be like these folks. Don't be like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, Bill Parcells with Florida State, Pearl River. Okay. Y'all better be like Coach Hill. Y'all better be like Coach Hill. If you see something that could be a blessing to you, you better goddamn snatch it. Cause that's what that man was on. Okay. Because a lot of folks are missing out. So it was like a combination of his aggressiveness or aggression, I should say, and other folks just being stupid. And it be like that sometimes. Okay. Because once everybody fucking up, he swoop in, he drive Walter down, or he lets Walter drive his Cadillac down to Columbia. And it said, he driving crazy, but shit, he trying to get this motherfucker. Said Walter Payton was driving. This is what he said. He said, man, if I hadn't been recruiting him, I mean, he was just a crazy driver, speeding like an insane person. But I didn't say anything. I just found myself praying all the way that he didn't hit a tree or a car or some person crossing the street. So Bob Hill was trying to get this man right here. Okay. But he said they made it there. Okay. And Walter's mama, I'm talking about, could cook real good based on what he's saying. You feel me? Say Walter Payton took his car. He asked him, can he borrow his car? To go see a girl. You know what I'm talking about? So it seemed like he was gone for a while and everything like that. But when he came back, it says that Walter told Coach Hill, you go on back to Jackson. And I promise you I'll be there in the morning. And said Coach Hill was all smiling. He thinking it's a done deal. But it still wasn't a done deal yet. Okay? Because Walter Payton had signed a letter of intent to go to Kansas State. Okay? As the book says, they had already sent him a one-way plane ticket and everything. They had everything, goddamn thing set up for him. Okay? They say dorm room was ready, practice jerseys were already in the locker, everything ready. Because they think they got him. It's a wrap. Bob Hill said, fuck all that. If you want something, you better go after it. Because they say Walter Payton showed up a few hours early to catch his flight. Okay. They say Coach Hill asked him, have you decided where you're going? Payton said, I think so. Hill started hitting him with some more of that real shit. Let them know that 98% of the folks that played at Jack State got their college degrees, and baby, better make sure these folks up there care about your academics as much as they care about this other shit. Laying it on thick. The book says Walter Payton caught that though. So it really didn't, just sway him for it like that. But he did miss his flight. He did miss his flight. And finally, like so many of us black men do, when you ain't got a clue, you ask mama. Okay? And so it says that Walter went to his mama and said, Mama, I have no idea what to do. Okay? And like so many mamas, Walter Payton mama didn't, she didn't want that man to be leaving home like that for real. Mamas want to be close to you. You feel me? And so it says that his mama told him, if you can't make up your mind where you want to go to school, I'll make it up for you. You're going to Jackson State. And as the book states, that was that. Almost. One more piece left now. Because remember, this man had signed a letter of intent. So these folks in Kansas State were still expecting this man. And y'all know they got wind of what was going on down here in Mississippi. Okay? Check out what the book says. Okay? It reads, the administrators at Kansas State were furious. In their minds, Walter Payton had been kidnapped. Everything Hill had done, allowing Walter to attend summer school, lining up a job, driving him home, was part of an elaborate scheme. Yeah, it was. When it came to the ethics of college football, Hill was no Mother Teresa. Hell, none of them are. He bought recruits meals and clothing, hid them from opposing programs, and made promises he couldn't keep. According to numerous players, he reveled in paying for various achievements, a punt return for a touchdown netted $10, and in setting bounties upon opposing stars. If this shit is true, Coach Hill was goddamn something else. I'm telling y'all, okay? This is a quote. He once offered us $50. Oh shit, my Grambling folks. He once offered us $50 to knock Grambling quarterback Doug Williams out of a game, said Vernon Perry, a Tigers safety. I actually did it, and Bob paid up. My Grambling people, y'all let us know what y'all know about that situation. I need to talk to Doug myself. I need to talk to the OG Doug Williams, see if he know anything about some money being put on his head out there on that field, man. Shit. This shit was wild. But so many coaches really do this shit, though. Okay. All right. But then it goes on to talk about how Jackson State's president, legendary president, John Peoples, got involved in this shit. Okay. It said John Peoples, Jackson State's president, recalled Hill telling him, I can get Walter paid, but you have to let me do what I have to do. Said that people said, that's fine. Just don't do anything illegal. Don't do anything wrong. Now, Peoples ended up getting a call from Kansas State's president, okay? A dude by the name of James McCain. They described him as a rugged former lieutenant commander in the Navy, okay, and that he was infuriated. So he called Dr. Peoples and said, I'm planning on reporting you to the NCAA, okay? And they said that people said to him, reporting me? For what? And then McCain said, for kidnapping. You kidnapped Walter Payton. Shit. It's crazy. They said they kidnapped Walter Payton. Got slick in. Oh, boy. They said, Dr. People said, I don't know what you mean, but I do know that Walter Payton has not enrolled with you. So how can someone be kidnapped if he's not enrolled? The book says McCain seethed. Peoples was right, though. Payton had signed the letter. He never enrolled in Kansas State. At the time, that was enough for an athlete to go wherever he preferred. Now, McCain went ahead and said, well, I'm going to call the NCAA about this. You'll hear back from me soon. As the book states, it was the last time the two ever spoke. Walter Payton was coming to Jackson State. That shit, they're great, man. That's great. That is great, 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 great. Oh, I'm telling y'all, man, buy that book. Buy that book. Put your kids on it. You know what I'm talking about? It's a great read. It's about sports, especially if you got a young man out there that you're trying to get him in the habit of reading. Well, this is about arguably the GOAT. It's well written, very interesting. You know, I think they'd enjoy it. Hell, you can buy it on your phone. I'm reading it on my iPhone. You know what I'm saying? You know, these youngins have these goddamn phones in their hands all the fucking time anyway. Okay, so you're trying to encourage them to read. Tell them about this book. Okay, there are some legendary stories about this man's life in here. Okay, so that's what I got for y'all. That's how Jackson State University stole or kidnapped Walter Payton from Kansas State. If any of y'all real ones out there know anything about these stories, y'all chime in, all right, with y'all inside information. All right, put it on some.
Thank you so much for watching my daddy's YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, and turn on your post notifications. Okay, how do I do it?